Hi, I'm Alex. I hold a master's education in philosophy and I'd like to take you on a quick journey into epistemology, the study of knowledge. This isn't a comprehensive course, but a quick path to the famous Gettier problem. To see why Edmund Gettier matters despite, as I shall argue in part 2, being mistaken, we first need to grasp how philosophers have traditionally defined knowledge and why it's trickier than it seems. In part 1, we'll move in 4 steps. Episode 1, Theory of Knowledge, Epistemology and its central questions. Episode 2, Why Epistemology Still Matters, the possibility and role of the philosophy of knowledge. Episode 3, Types of knowledge from facts to experience and know-how. And 4, the Gettier problem, why justified true belief seemingly falls short. Along the way, we'll hear echoes of Plato, the originator of the definition, who might not be pleased with where the debate has gone. And to keep things lively, I'll introduce Epi, our philosophical sidekick, who'll pop in with reminders that exploring big questions can be both serious and playful. Let's dive in. Every day, we make countless judgments about what to believe. A news article claims that a new study proves something important. A friend swears they remember an event a certain way. A viral post insists on a shocking truth that no one dares even to tell. Some of these claims are accurate. Many, maybe not. But how can you tell the difference? In an age of fake news, conspiracy theories, and AI-generated content, it is no longer enough to just trust your gut or assume that confidence equals truth. The term epistemology derives from the ancient Greek word episteme, which means knowledge or understanding. It is composed of epi, which means upon or over, and histemi, to set, to stand. Literally to stand upon, in the sense of being firmly grounded. The suffix logi comes from the Greek logia, meaning study or systemic account. Put together, epistemology thus literally means the study of knowledge. Epistemology asks one of the oldest and most human questions. What does it mean to truly know something? At first glance, the answer seems straightforward. Epistemology is about knowledge. But that's almost comically unhelpful, like saying cooking is about food. To really get a grip on what epistemology is, it helps to break the topics into 3 questions. First, what is knowledge? Second, why does philosophy care about it? And third, why should it matter to you or me? Starting with the first. What is knowledge? A natural place to begin is by noticing how we use the word in everyday life. Sometimes we mean the process of coming to know, working something out, making a discovery. Other times we mean the result of that process, a settled state of having grasped a truth. Knowledge can be talked about at the individual level or as the shared body of understanding we call science. Here, let's focus on the individual case. What does it mean for you to know something? Philosophically, knowledge lives in the mind. It's a cognitive state, different from purely physical states like sore muscles or watery eyes. Our minds are full of different states, beliefs, desires, sensory impressions, emotions, and bodily feelings like pain. But not all of these aim at truth. Desires can be fulfilled or frustrated, but they are not true or false. Only beliefs, the mental states where we take something to be the case, can be true or false. That's why beliefs are at the heart of epistemology. A first guess might be that knowledge is simply a true belief. After all, you can't know something if it isn't true. But that can't be the whole story. Suppose you guess the answer on a quiz and happen to get it right. You have a true belief, but you do not know the answer. That was just luck. So we tighten the definition. Knowledge should be a true belief that isn't true by accident. The truth has to come in a way that rules out luck. But even then, problems remain. Imagine trusting whatever a thermometer says without any reason to believe it's working. If the thermometer is reliable, your readings will usually be right. But from your perspective, you're just taking shots in the dark. This is why, going back to Plato, philosophers have often said that knowledge is justified, true belief. It's not enough that your belief is true. You also need a reason, a justification that links your mind to the world in the right way. Epistemology, then, is the study of what knowledge is, how we can get it, and what makes our beliefs justified. And here is why it matters. Every time you pause and ask, how do I know this? About a news story, a memory, or a scientific claim, you're doing epistemology. It's not an ivory tower game. It is a way of thinking that helps us to tell the difference between what just looks like truth and what actually is. When we talk about epistemology, we are talking about knowledge, what it is, what makes it true, and what justifies it. But that raises a deeper question. What are the core issues epistemology is trying to solve? Many fields, like physics, history, psychology, or literature, are in the business of producing knowledge. If you want to understand the world, you rely on them. But here's the key difference. These disciplines use knowledge without stopping to ask what knowledge itself is. Epistemology is unique in that it studies the nature of knowledge. It's knowledge about knowledge. Other areas overlap. Cognitive science studies how the brain processes information, perceiving, remembering, reasoning, but it doesn't usually ask whether the resulting beliefs are true or justified in the philosophical sense. Evolutionary biology asks why knowledge might have evolved, often suggesting that reliable beliefs promoted survival, but its focus is on adaptive function rather than conceptual analysis. The social science investigate how societies define and distribute knowledge over time, which addresses its social role, but not its underlying structure or definition. That leads to classical questions. Sources. Do we gain all knowledge through experience, as empiricists argue, or can some knowledge come from reason alone, as rationalists claim? Structure. Does all knowledge rest on basic, self-evident truth? Or is it a network of mutually supporting beliefs? Limits. Can we know anything at all, or does skepticism have the last word? Improvement. Can we refine our methods, strategies, and tools to reduce error and get closer to truth? In short, epistemology asks two big kind of questions. First, analytical. What are knowledge, truth, and justification? And second, normative. How should we form beliefs? And what are the limits of what we can know? These aren't just academic puzzles. They shape how we decide what to believe in a world overflowing with claims, evidence, and misinformation. What is epistemology and why should we care? Epistemology is a study of knowledge, where it comes from, what it counts as true knowledge, and how we can be sure we are not just guessing. The word itself comes from the Greek and literally means study of knowledge. At its core, epistemology asks simple but powerful questions. What does it mean to know something? How do we know that what we believe is actually true? And can we trust our ways of thinking and learning? Philosophers often define knowledge as justified true belief. It's not enough to believe something that turns out to be true. You also need a good reason for believing it. Epistemology has two main jobs: clarify key ideas like truth, belief, and justification. Evaluate how we form beliefs and whether our methods are reliable. Along the way, it tackles big debates. Do we learn through experience or reason? Is knowledge built on solid foundations or a web of beliefs? Can we ever be truly certain? And how can we avoid being wrong? In short, epistemology helps us think better, believe smarter, and get closer to truth in philosophy, science, and everyday life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below.